Hey there, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday evening. Meteorologist Kristin Walla here. We have got some storms on our radar at this time, so we're going to break all that down for you. We're also going to go over what it's looking like heading into tonight, the forecast, all that good stuff here. So I will pull the graphics up here and we will get going. All right, so we have this severe risk. It actually got extended a little bit further south, that yellow color. Earlier this afternoon, it was only up until about Live Oak County, but now the Storm Prediction Center, the people who put out these severe weather risks, with their 7 o'clock update, they kind of smushed it back down a little further south into northwest Live Oak and B County. The vast majority of the coastal bend, though, still in that marginal or 1 out of 5 severe risk. So what that means for us is we've got the chance of seeing a few isolated severe storms. That means even though while a lot of folks may get rain tonight, I think most folks will, most folks probably won't be seeing a severe storm. That's what the isolated and scattered kind of terminology mean. So I've got the little, what do you call it? The threats listed there underneath in each of those boxes. So winds in the green area, that marginal risk, going to be 40 to 60 mile per hour with hail up to 1 inch. And these are the threats that are going to be within the severe storms. Not every storm is going to carry these risks. And then the yellow just means that maybe some of the risks are a little bit stronger and maybe some of those storms are a little bit more scattered or a little bit more widespread as opposed to isolated. So here's what the entire state of Texas looks like right now. You can see the cold front kind of nudging up right against that scattered or slight risk, the yellow there, over towards places like San Angelo, San Antonio, all the way up to east of Dallas, essentially, I believe up towards Abilene as well. That's where that main severe risk is existing right now. But again, the Storm Prediction Center did go ahead and kind of nudge that down into some of our southern counties, or into our northern counties. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Here's a look at satellite and radar right now. The cold front's a little bit further east than is shown on here. It's where that big line of rain is, making its way between Abilene and Dallas. But you can see, again, a lot going on across the state at this time. The pink color underneath all of the clouds and rain there, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. None of our counties are included in that at this time. I'll zoom in here just a little bit more so you can really see a lot of lightning going on over by San Antonio and even a severe storm over towards LaSalle and McMullen counties. It's looking like it may barely clip some of northern Live Oak County, but again, moving roughly northeast here with that storm. And then up towards the northern half of the state, again, really big line of some strong storms moving through up there. As for us in Corpus Christi, we are pretty quiet and calm right now. There is a few storms up towards Beeville right now and over towards, I believe, Orange Grove and Sandia, kind of in that area. So we'll take this ahead here and look at our radar a little bit closer. This is the better looking, higher resolution radar. Again, we've got a lot going on around the state, but here, not too much at this time. Again, here's a look towards Orange Grove and Mathis. I'll stop the radar so we can get a little bit of a better look at it. Rain looks kind of heavy in those areas where you've got the red and the orange. A decent amount of lightning, but the main storm that we're looking at right now is going to be this one up towards Tilden. It just went through Cotulla, where they were experiencing severe level wind gusts at the airport over there. That's why it got severe warned. It also got severe warned for some hail that has been seen in it. Right now, the hailstones, our radar is estimating around half-inch hail at most. That's what our radar is estimating. And the warning, I believe, is for quarter-size hail, which is 1 inch. So the warning is for a little bit bigger than our radar is actually picking up on. So here's what our rain chances, severe chances, that kind of stuff looks like for the rest of this evening. It starts a little bit earlier since we were using this graphic earlier this evening, but you can see the radar coverage, the rain chances going up as we head into the next couple of hours. At any one time, I think the radar will be around half full, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But what we want to focus on, other than just the rain chances, is what kind of storms we could be seeing. So just thunderstorms, showers, severe, that's what we're trying to also look at here. And I talked about this a little bit on air as best I could within the confines of a couple minutes that I'm given. Whenever I have the red on this graphic, the severe, that doesn't mean that every single storm on the radar at that time is going to be severe. It doesn't mean everyone is going to get severe thunderstorms. What it means is that we have the potential for the storms to be severe during that time frame, like we're already seeing right now. So just to our north, we had that severe storm. It's not technically in our viewing area just yet, but it's right outside of it. So we're right on the brink of transitioning to when we could start seeing more severe storms pop up here in the coastal bend. Another thing to note, I mentioned earlier with that Storm Prediction Center, the outlook, it says isolated severe storms. So you can really see that here, that even though we have the scattered coverage, the rain chances aren't super high. So within that, even more isolated means, you know, we're not going to be seeing every single storm being severe. So with that, I also mentioned earlier some of the threats that we could be seeing. Here's a little bit more of a breakdown. We've already seen heavy rain with some of those storms over towards Mathis and Beeville, not quite as heavy as the storm over to the west of George West, but still heavy rain is a possibility with some of these thunderstorms. There's a lot of energy for them to tap into up in the atmosphere, and we already saw lots of lightning as well. The flooding isn't one of the main concerns. It's more so for the areas to our northeast, where last week we had that really rainy weather pattern, and some places picked up 4 to 6 inches of rain. So if you have a couple thunderstorms dropping some heavy rain just right over the same area, we could see some localized flooding with that, but overall I think we're okay. Most places only getting a tenth to a quarter, maybe up to half an inch of rain. Again, if a couple thunderstorms go right over you a couple times, that'll start to add up a little bit more. The two other main concerns that we would see outside of the heavy rain and lightning would be the high winds, which I mentioned earlier, 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts with some of these stronger to severe storms, as well as hail up to about an inch in diameter. And then the chance is low, if not very low, for tornadoes, but the Weather Service and other meteorologists were all kind of agreeing that you can't really leave that risk off of there, even though it doesn't look too likely at this time. So let's take a look at Futurecast here. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s heading into this evening in about an hour so for news time. And as we head into the rest of this evening, we'll start to see a little bit more coverage on the radar, like I showed with that graphic a couple of minutes ago, the bar graph. And so by about 1 o'clock, we've got that cold front. You can barely just see it up to our northwest, but the radar filling out just a little bit more, kind of in a wave. So that'll be our first wave of rain here right around midnight into 1 o'clock. That cold front starts to get to our northern counties by about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, and that'll actually bring the north winds with it. So behind that front, and then as the front comes through, our in-house model here that I'm showing doesn't look to get too excited as that front comes through, building up more storms. But I do think we could be seeing a little bit more activity along the front as that comes through in the coastal bend by tomorrow. Regardless, again, those severe storms are going to be more on the isolated side, meaning that not everyone is going to see a severe level storm. Multiple could be strong, but not all of them are going to be severe. So that front heads out heading into sunrise tomorrow, and by mid-morning, most of us are already rain-free, if not cloud free. So then heading into tomorrow around lunchtime, it's looking really, really nice. And even though we just had a cold front come through, temperatures staying in the 70s, in some places upper 70s to near 80 tomorrow. And that's because even though we had a cold front, it's a Pacific cold front, so it's not gonna be bringing a very big temperature drop for us. So we'll stay pretty mild tomorrow afternoon, and I think we'll be pretty sunny into the afternoon as well, and a little bit breezy behind that front. And then heading into tomorrow evening, it doesn't look all that bad. However, we are gonna start to see some really strong winds kick up heading into Saturday night throughout the day Sunday. So it's pretty likely that we're going to see a wind advisory issued for Sunday afternoon, if not as early as Sunday morning, Saturday overnight. And the reason for that is, honestly, it's actually this same system. The parent low pressure is gonna just kind of hang out in the Red River Valley for a day or two. And as it does that, it's going to do what we call deepening. It basically means it's going to strengthen, the pressure is going to fall in the center of that low pressure system, and when that happens, it makes the pressure gradient, so the change in pressure over a given distance, it makes it tighter, or it's going to change a lot more over that same distance. And when that happens, we get stronger winds, and it's going to happen to the tune of 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So it's going to be pretty breezy, sustained winds 25 to 35 miles per hour. So with the wind gusts on top of that, it's looking pretty likely that we see a wind advisory heading into Sunday. So here's what that would look like. We've got the really dry air too coming in on those pretty strong winds. So with that, the low relative humidity, the strong winds, we do have a fire weather watch issued for Sunday afternoon already for some of our southern and western counties, because the combination of the dry air, the really windy conditions, that's going to make for weather where fires can spread really, really easily. So let's check on tomorrow's forecast. Again, the sky is going to clear pretty quick as we head into tomorrow morning. We've got the lingering chance for some storms around 7, 8, 9 o'clock, but past that, if you have any plans, they should not be rained out. It just may be a little bit breezy, but very warm, nice and sunny tomorrow afternoon. It's actually looking to be a pretty nice day once we get this rain and those isolated severe storms out of the picture this evening. So here's the 7-day forecast. Lots of sunshine from now through half of next week. It looks pretty nice. Again, temperatures not dropping all that much from where we will be tomorrow afternoon, maybe 5 to 10 degrees by the time we get to Tuesday. And from there, we actually warm back up to where we are tomorrow, with the added benefit of some good old Texas humidity. So that means isolated rain chances come back, cloud cover comes back just a little bit. So that's a look at the 7-day. I am going to take a look at the comments real quick and see what questions y'all guys are having. All right, I haven't been seeing a lot of questions, so we'll just go ahead and keep looking at the radar here for a couple more minutes before we have to go and get ready for the show. Here is what the radar is looking like right now. It's active, but could be worse. So here's a look over towards Mathis and Orange Grove. A couple lightning strikes over just to the west of Mathis. The rainfall rates aren't looking super heavy at this time. Maybe over here in this little area, some darker reds, but overall, not too bad. And then up towards Beeville, a little bit more of that heavy rainfall, some lightning at that. Let's zoom back out and take it over to Freer. Looks like there's a couple showers, a little baby lightning strike right there. And then we're still focused on that severe thunderstorm up in McMullen County over by Tilden. If we play that, we can see where it's heading. And I believe the Weather Service has this moving at 55 miles per hour, roughly to the east. The reason that this one is severe warned is for wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour and some penny-size hail, which isn't quite severe criteria. That would be quarter-size hail or 1 inch. So this one is getting warned for the winds. So let's track this out for y'all. If it's moving east-ish around 55 miles per hour. I gotta do some little magic here with my computer. There we go. I'm gonna draw this out for y'all. And roughly moving east at 55 miles an hour. Here's about the times that we can expect it. In Three Rivers, in the next half hour about, you can expect that thunderstorm to move over to y'all. Again, this is the only one near us that's severe warned at this time. It's got a lot of heavy rain with it, a decent amount of lightning, especially up in Atascosa County. A lot of lightning over there, but in McMullen County, the lightning's a little bit more tame. The hail for this storm, it's not being severe warned for that. It's being warned for the wind gusts. And the Weather Service was talking about that a little bit, actually, that a lot of these clusters of thunderstorms that are forming, they're going to kind of push a lot of the air out ahead of them that comes down with the rain. That air is cooled by the rain, and it makes it fall down really fast and push out at the surface because it can't go through the ground. And that makes it really gusty out ahead of some of these storms. So if you're up near San Antonio, y'all are kind of getting hammered by rain a little bit. I can pop up the San Antonio radar on top of this one so I have a little bit better of an image. There we go. So yeah, you can see the pink there. That's all a severe thunderstorm watch, I believe, going until midnight. None of our counties are included in that. We just have this one severe thunderstorm that's warned so far. And then other than that, we're pretty much just going to be watching over towards the Laredo area and south of there and waiting for some of those storms to kind of get going and come across into the coastal bend. So that's what we'll be looking for. We'll be staying late tonight and watching this overnight for y'all. And I'm gonna check for comments again, if I can figure out, I got a new phone, I'm trying to figure out how to work it. I keep messing with it. When will the storms start for the Banquetti area? All right, here is a look at that. And all right, there we go. Now we got you. So it looks like y'all already got a storm come through there. Kind of. You got the very tail end of it. Let's see. It's going to be a little harder to track some of these that are further away from a radar because it's seeing the very kind of middle and top part of the storm as opposed to the bottom of it, which is where we are, where we want to see. So I can try to figure out here in real time with y'all how fast these have been moving. We're going to employ a little handy dandy trick where I measure. So there's one storm, and an hour later, here it is. This is advanced stuff, y'all. So it's moving at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. All right. And I'm only gonna do this out for an hour. So when we can maybe be seeing this one, I believe that was the direction it was moving. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'll pull it out to about Fell Furious. So it looks like we could be seeing this in Falfurrias towards the end of our newscast, so we'll definitely be tracking that for y'all throughout the newscast. And again, a lot of these storms continuing to move across the coastal bend, whether it's like the ones to the north up towards San Antonio, those are moving more west to east, and then the ones to our south are moving a little bit more northeast. So Rockport area, okay. A lot of that rain is over to your west right now. It's at about 77 over towards Sinton. And trying to decide if it looks like it would go to your north or not. Let's see. Yeah, I think if that, there are so many options on here. I'm trying to figure out, there we go, that is what I want. I think if this builds a little bit to the south down here on this side, and then that moves up towards Rockport, I think there's a better chance of rain. But if it kind of continues to move at this more northeast kind of direction, I think y'all may miss out on a little bit of that stuff. Right, somebody asked about Sinton. You can see there's a lot of rain coming up on y'all right now. Yep, there's a good amount of rain right between Sinton and Mathis. I'll pause this here. Yeah, so that one looks like it's kind of lost a little bit of its steam. There's a little bit more yellow on the radar, but it's more spotty and sporadic, and there's not quite as much lightning. I don't think the lightning doesn't backtrack with the radar. It's just kind of, oh, yes it does. There we go. Yeah, you can see how it looked pretty organized right there. By the time I got to Orange Grove, there was a little bit of lightning, but a lot more heavy rain concentrated in one area, and now it's kind of fizzling apart a little bit. All right, what time is the rain gonna stop in Corpus? Well, we have rain chances lasting overnight. I'll pull that graphic up again. If I go the right way, I will pull it up again. All right, so here's a look at the forecast for the rain chances as well as what kind of storms we could be seeing. So we're right at the edge of where we're starting to see more severe storms popping up on the radar as opposed to just thunderstorms, strong thunderstorms. Now we're getting into the territory where we're seeing a few isolated storms pop up, like the one in McMullen County. And that one was earlier warned for both wind and hail. Now it's just being warned for wind at this time. That's going to be one of our two main concerns with any strong, if not severe storms here in the coastal bend. It's going to be the 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, which would be strong to right up under severe, and up to 1-inch hail. So those are our main concerns for most of our areas that were in that marginal risk in the green area, and then up towards northwestern, Live Oak, and Bee counties. That's where you kind of get into the slight risk, or the 2 out of 5 category, the yellow, whatever you remember it by. That's where you're going to start to see a little bit more frequent strong storms, if not severe, and maybe a little bit on the higher end of those severe threats, to where you're seeing a little bit above 60 mile per hour winds, a little bit above 1-inch hail, maybe 1 to 2 inch. So here, I'll show you all that again, just so it makes sense. So what I was talking about is the green area is the marginal or 1 out of 5 risk. That's where we're seeing the isolated severe storms. The yellow is a 2 out of 5 or a slight risk. That's where we're going to see a few more storms, and that's where we find our singular severe storm at this time kind of in our area is right up here in this area. And it actually looks like the Weather Service dropped the severe thunderstorm warning off of it at this time, but that would fall into line with where we were seeing the severe storm was right in this area, that it falls in that slight risk. So again, the areas in green, which is most of the coastal bend, are in line for an isolated severe storm. So not everybody's going to see one, but I do think most people will get some rain hopefully tonight with these different threats. The winds 40 to 60 miles per hour, hail up to 1 inch, and then those kind of go up a little bit for the slight risk, and then you could see maybe a couple more in terms of the radar coverage being severe. So one last time, the other threats, heavy rain. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of flooding. Just some of the areas already have pretty saturated soils from last week. So if you see some pretty heavy rain from a good downpour, you may see some isolated, localized flooding, stuff like that. Lightning is going to be a concern tonight. So just stay inside and enjoy the cozy weather inside. So we'll go through Futurecast one last time, and then I'm going to sign off after this. So here's what we're looking at heading into the next half hour or so. We'll continue to see some storms roll through. Again, the coverage at any one time isn't going to be insanely widespread, and an even smaller amount than that are going to be severe. So some of these storms are going to be strong. We'll see showers mixed in there still too. So here's midnight, and then heading into about 3 o'clock, we start to see our cold front move into our northwestern counties, and that is going to push one more little wave of rain through the coastal bend. Again, I mentioned earlier, and I'll say it again, I do think we see a little bit more development along the cold front as it gets through our coastal counties, but this model is just not showing that as well as I would like it to. But once we get past tomorrow morning, we clear out and we have a gorgeous day. Heading into tomorrow afternoon, we get high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, lots of sunshine, and we are going to be a little bit on the windy side, so do keep that in mind. But once we get through tonight with the rain, we have a beautiful weekend, again, aside from the wind, a beautiful weekend in store. Heading into Sunday, it is going to be on the windy side. I mentioned earlier, we'll probably have a wind advisory heading into Sunday morning, if not Sunday afternoon for sure, because it's going to be very, very windy. So I hope that this was beneficial to y'all to see the radar here in between the newscasts, but it's time for us to sign off here, and we are going to see you soon on our newscast. So if you want to stay updated, download our mobile app. If you've liked content like this, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, all that good stuff. So see y'all on the 10 p.m.